Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I really hope you're doing okay and having a great day and an amazing week. My name is Effie and today it is time for my favourites video. I do this every year, at least once a year, where I put on a full face of my favourite makeup. I will say there are a lot of honourable mentions in this video. I use one product and talk about a few more as well. Let me know down in the comment section what your favourite products of 2023 are, that you've tested in 2023, that you've just been using in 2023. I will say not every product in this video was made in 2023, and not every product in this video I tested in 2023. I did try to stick to products I tested in 2023, but I haven't tested a lot of makeup this year, and also some stuff I've tested really recently and couldn't really include it in a favourites video because I don't know if it's a favourite yet, but they have been included as honourable mentions if I did really like them. But particularly in categories where I would have ended up talking about products that I spoke about in my last year's favourites, I have tried to pick something that I've tested this year or that I've been really enjoying this year. So I hope that that makes it a little bit more different to last year's video. But this is the finished look. Let me know down in the comment section what you think of it. Let me know your favourites because I really want to test more makeup next year. Let me know what you're doing over the festive period, if you celebrate Christmas, if you don't, what you're doing over New Year's. Chat to me, I really want to chat to you all. I'll be off work by the time this video goes up, so I'll have plenty of time to sit and reply to your comments. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. If you like my content, please consider subscribing. I put up a video every Saturday and it's always makeup related, so if that sounds like your type of thing, then this is the place for you. The subscribe button is just down below and it's completely free to subscribe. You don't have to pay anything. But other than that, let's go on with the video. Let's see some of my favourites. Bit of a jump scare, me looking like this. The forehead is huge. The jumper is unflattering. My hair is a mess. So, we're going to do my favourites of 2023. Can you believe it? And we're going to start with our eyes. Eye primer is this one. It is the Be Perfect eyeshadow priming base in the shade Omnis. This isn't my go-to eyeshadow primer every single time I'm looking for a mirror. You know what, I'm just going to use the one from the palette. Spoiler alert, this is the palette that I'm going to be using. I don't use this primer all the time, but like I said in the intro, for products where I thought I was just going to end up picking the same product I spoke about last year, I tried to consider products that I've tried this year and which one of those my favourites would be. So my all-time favourite is still the Beauty Bay eye base, but I tried this eye base this year and I have really enjoyed it. I have used it a few times. It's very similar to the Beauty Bay eye base. It's a touch darker, but it came in a mystery box and I didn't get to choose my shade, which is fine. It's also a little bit thinner than the Beauty Bay eye base. The Beauty Bay eye base is quite thick. They give a similar effect. They both have like a little bit of coverage to them. They both work well with eyeshadows. This is just one I've tested this year that I've really enjoyed. I haven't tested a lot of eye bases this year. I plan to test a few more next year. And then the eyeshadow palette, again, I wanted to pick one that I've tested this year. So I've picked the Cosmic Brushes Serenity palette. I have tested a lot of palettes recently. If you've been watching my channel, I've done a lot of palette testing videos. And I just think this one stood out to me as the one that I am most interested in. I really enjoyed using. The colours are beautiful. I really like the look I created. Even though it wasn't my typical look, it was very different from what I normally do. I really enjoyed the look. And I have tested a lot of good eyeshadow palettes this year. This one just really stood out to me as my favourite. But I am also going to make a special mention for this. I didn't test this palette this year. I think I tested it last year. This is the Wet n Wild Coffee Cat eyeshadow palette. And it is a neutral palette, which we all know it's not my go-to. However, for work, this has been my go-to palette. This is the palette I pretty much always use because it has warm tone neutrals, it has warm tone browns, cool tone browns and neutral tone browns. The shimmers are actually pretty good as well. I sometimes pull a shimmer from a different palette, but this has been my go-to neutral palette, and I think next year I am going to put in a bit of effort into finding a really, really good everyday brown eyeshadow palette because I personally like neutral tones. Like the shades I use the most in here is this one, and this one because they're the most neutral. So I think what I need is a brown eyeshadow palette that's just neutral tones. But that is my favourite brown eyeshadow palette this year. and this is my favourite palette that I've tested this year. So I'm just going to throw on a quick look using this. I will speed it up and talk about the palette over the top, but it's not a tutorial. I'm just going to do like a purple smoky eye with maybe this orange on the inner corner and a shimmer. Let's do it. As usual, I'm only going to do one eye on camera because eyeshadow takes forever and I'd rather not be here forcing you guys to watch me do the same thing twice. I've kept this look super simple. I've started with the shade Mood, which is a beautiful, beautiful dark blue. It's formulated so well. The mattes in this palette are so creamy. Although they're powders, I know that sounds weird, but they are so buttery and smooth and they blend well and they just look good in the palette as well as on your eyes. The next shade I'm going in with is Pixie. It is a stunning, stunning purple. I am starting with just placing it where I want it. I will go back in with a fluffier brush and blend it out a bit more, but for right now I'm just stamping it on. And then the final matte shade I'm going in with is Make a Wish. This is a super, super pale pastel shade, so it's not showing up loads on my eyes, but it is massively helping to just blend out that other purple shade. And I do really appreciate that in this palette there are super, super dark shades for building depth, but also super, super light shades for blending out, and I think the blending out shades would work well on most people's skin tones. And then I'm just going back through and reblending them all and re-intensifying them. I'm going in with the dark blue all over my lid. I will say there is a little patch where it doesn't seem to be sticking to my lid. That's fine, I'm going to cover it up with a shimmer anyway. It could be user error as well. I might have just not blended out my eye primer well enough, or I could have just put a powder on there by accident. But then the shimmer I'm going in with is Ether, which is a duochrome. It has sort of a shift between like a tealy blue and a purple, and I think it is absolutely stunning. I love this shade. I did use it in my testing video and I really, really enjoy it. It's just so unique and so pretty. And then I'm topping it with a tiny, tiny bit of Opal, which again is a duochrome. It's white with sort of like a bluey green shift to it. So I'm just adding that on top to give a little bit more dimension to the look. And there we go, a super, super simple purple smoky eye using the Serenity palette by Cosmic Brushes. I'm just looking on their website right now. This palette is £20, but I think all of their palettes range between £20 and £30. They are an independent brand. They are from the UK. They are owned by a woman of colour. They have such good products. Yeah, they have maybe like 4 or 5 palettes now. I own 2 of them. I am very interested in picking up the others, but they sell out so much. They are doing so well for themselves. I'm a bit gutted I can't pick up the other palettes, but at the same time I'm very happy that they're selling out and doing really well for themselves. Now, before I go off camera and do my other eye, I am actually going to just finish this look with this. This has been a go-to product for me all year. This is the Kiko eyeshadow in 01 Glitter Shower. It's just a silver eyeshadow, but it is just everything I need from a silver eyeshadow. It's like tiny little glitters and you just sort of pat it on. I'm going to do it in real time with you guys. Don't say I ever do nothing for you, whatever the saying is. You probably can't see a lot, but what that's going to do is just add the smallest amount of just glitter, and I love it. I also love doing just like a very, very simple like 1 or 2 eyeshadows through the crease, putting this on the lid. I think it's amazing. It's also good for smoky eyes of any colour because it's silver, so it goes with everything. I absolutely love it. I use it pretty much all the time. So yeah, those are my eyeshadow picks. What I'm going to do now is go off camera and catch up the other eye, and then we'll come back and do base together. See you in a moment. Eyes are done and evened up. I know I said I would put the orange on my inner corner, and I will do that once I have my base on, because otherwise I'll just end up covering it up. So, primer. My favourite primer by far this year has been the e.l.f. Power Grip. I used to really love the e.l.f. Putty Primer, and I still do, but I completely used it up. And I picked up the green version, which is like the one that's meant to help with your blemishes. I don't love that one as much as I do the original, so I picked this primer because I literally wear it every day. It is my go-to primer for every occasion, although I am realising I do actually need to start switching up my base products, because otherwise I just end up using the same ones over and over and over again and other ones don't get used. Foundation. The XXRevolution Fauxxdation in the shade FX2. I was going to use the Revolution Pro foundation drops because they are still my favourite, but I thought to mix it up I'd use this one. This is my go-to full coverage foundation, and I will say there is another foundation that I do want to mention, and that is the Rimmel Kind and Free foundation, or skin tint foundation, because I tested that recently and I really liked it, but I feel like I haven't tested it long enough to be able to put it in a favourites video, but I do want to give that one a little mention because I am currently really enjoying it. It's just the fact that I only tested it like 2 weeks ago and I've only worn it 3 times in the entire time I've had it, so I can't really put it in a favourites video, but I am really enjoying it. And obviously the foundation drops from Revolution Pro I think were my favourites last year. I still love them, I still wear them quite a lot. I am trying to wear them a little bit less because they are running out, but I do really love them. And I think I very rarely repurchase foundations, but I think I am actually going to repurchase that one because I genuinely love it and I love the finish it gives. This is a very matte finish, but it is super high coverage. It is slightly too pale for me, which is weird because I always get F2 in foundations from Revolution, but for some reason this one's just a bit too pale. Maybe it's because of how full coverage it is. I can really see how pale it is, whereas obviously with their lower coverage foundations, you know what I mean, you can't really see it as clearly and it sort of mixes in with my natural skin tone a bit better. But I do really enjoy this. Now for concealer, I have 2 and another special mention. So the 2 I'm going to mention as favourites is the Rimmel Multitasker Concealer, which I think I mentioned last year as well, because I do really love this concealer. It's very lightweight, very thin consistency, but has really good coverage. The other one I'm going to mention is the matching one to the foundation actually, and it's the XXRevolution Concealer in CX1. And again, I really like this one. It's a bit thicker than the Rimmel one. It has a bit more coverage. I really like it. I really like the doe foot as well. And between these two, these are the 2 that I'm reaching for all the time. The other concealer I would like to mention is another Revolution one, and that is the IRL concealer. I can't remember the full name of it, but again I only tested that pretty recently, so I can't really put it in a favourites video, but I have been using it a lot, like since my testing video, whenever I tested it, maybe a couple of weeks back. I have been using that concealer so much, and I am really enjoying it. Now for cream blush, I'm using the Made by Mitchell Blursh in the shade Apricot Hot. This is one of my favourite shades, but it is also one of my favourite formulas. I also love the shade Sunflower, which is like a yellow shade, and I really enjoy that. I also really like Posy Rosy, which is more of a pink shade. I quite like a lot of them. I also like Teach and Peach. I like a lot of them. I like the formula. It's really blendable. It's pigmented, but you can put on less and build it up if you'd prefer. I just really like this formula, but funnily enough, I have noticed I don't like the bronzer shades. I have the shade Hello There, which is like a contour shade, and I like it enough for like contouring, but I don't contour that often, so I don't have to use it that often, but I definitely prefer it for blush. Then for cream bronzer, I have the Kiko Sculpting Touch Creamy Stick Contour in the shade 200. If I'm going to give a special mention as well, it's going to be to the Doll Beauty Cream Bronzer in Light. But this I really like because I don't like a bronzer that's too warm toned, and I find that this one is a really good in between. I think it is meant to be a bit more cool toned, but just on my skin tone it's not. Like, it is good, it's definitely not warm toned, it is definitely on the cooler side, but it's not super cool toned on me, which is really nice. I have tried drawing this onto my skin and then blending it out. I'm not a massive fan of applying it that way. I prefer putting it onto my brush like I'm doing now and then putting it onto my face. It does take longer, I'm sure. You could probably also put it onto the back of your hand and dip your brush into that, but this is the method that I like to use and it works really, really well for me. So yeah, Kiko is a brand that really, really interests me and is definitely going on my list of brands to test for next year. Now I'm going to powder down. Powder is not something I've tested much of at all this year. In fact, I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I've actually brought a new powder into my collection this year. So my favourite is currently this one. This is empty because I've put it into here because the packaging is horrendous. But this is the Revolution Translucent Loose Baking Powder. And I put it into here, which is an old Primark powder tub. I am trying to get rid of this. I am trying to use it all up. Not because it's bad, just because I just want to use it all up. But there's not a lot left. And I think I can get it used up, hopefully, by the end of the year. It does have a slight bit of colour to it, like it's not white. And as much as I don't mind a white powder, I think that for the everyday, having one with a bit of colour to it is better. But again, don't really mind white powders. I have quite a few pure white powders that I quite like. This one has just been my go-to this year. And yes, partly it'll be because I'm trying to use it up. So I am sort of targeting it for use a bit more. But it just sits really nicely on the skin. Although it has a little bit of colour to it, it doesn't sort of cover up any of the cream products that I've got on my face. It sets my makeup really well. It's finely milled, but not too finely milled. It's just really nice, and it's Revolution, and I'm pretty sure it's super inexpensive. I don't think it's something I'm going to repurchase when I finish it, just because... Where's the tub gone? I can't see it. There it is. Just because I hate the packaging. The packaging is horrendous. Now for blush, and annoyingly, the blush I'm going to call as my favourite, I don't think they sell this anymore. This is the MUA Blush Matte Blush Powder in the shade Papaya Whip. They do still sell the blush matte powders. They've changed the packaging, but they do still sell them. But I don't think they sell this shade anymore. But this is my absolute favourite. So I am going to give you a backup because, like I said, I don't think you can buy this one anymore. But my second choice is the Beauty Bay blushes. I have this one here in the shade Peachy. I do also have one in the shade Coral, which I think I decluttered this year, I can't remember. But I do really like them. The Beauty Bay blushes have a really, really nice formula to them. They have a nice pigment to them, they look nice on the skin, they're very easy to use. The only issue I have with the Beauty Bay blushes is all their shades are sort of like very generic blush shades. This is quite a unique blush shade. I wish Beauty Bay would come out with a shade like this. But other than that, the Beauty Bay blushes are actually really nice, really, really like them. Another product I really want to test next year is their cream blushes because I think they'll be really good. Now for bronzer, and I actually struggled with bronzer because I was just going to pick the Doll Beauty Light because that is still one of my favourites, but actually I reached for this one more, I think, and this is the Barry M Heatwave Powder Bronzer in the shade Tropical. And I don't really know why I reach for this one so much, I just know that I do. Like I've noticed that I do reach for it fairly often. I was looking at my bronzers and I was like, which one have I actually been reaching for? And I was like, you know what, this one, because I reach for it all the time. I just really like it. It looks really nice on the skin. Really nice formula. I quite like the packaging, it's really nice and sleek. There's no mirror inside because it is recyclable. It's definitely a warm tone bronzer, but I think it's not too warm. It's like a nice middle of the road sort of shade. Now for highlight, I can't remember if this one was in my favourites last year. I don't think it was, but the one I've been reaching for fairly often, Rude Cosmetics Baked Highlighter in the shade I Get All Eyes on Me. I don't think this is going to be for everyone because it is a baked highlighter and it is a little glittery, but I quite like that. It gives such a nice glow. I think the main reason is the shade is perfect for me. It is a champagne-y shade, which I do like. I've been reaching for my champagnes more than my pinks recently, which is a bit different for me. I normally reach for my pinks. But I do think the shade is really, really nice. I quite like that it's got a little bit of glitter to it. I think having that for me just makes it a bit more unique and a bit more special. Like if I'm wearing highlighter, I want it to look like I'm wearing highlighter. Now for my brows. These were definitely in my favourites videos last year, but I couldn't not mention them because they are my go-to brow products. We have the MUA Brow Define Micro Precision Brow Pencil in the shade Mid Brown. Yep, Mid Brown. And the NYX Thick It Stick It Brow Thickening Mascara in the shade Taupe. Yeah, these have just been my go-to. The brow mascara from NYX was sent to me ages ago, literally probably last year it was sent to me, and I still use it all the time. And again, that is a product I will repurchase. This brow pencil is a product I have repurchased. I think this is like my second or third one, and I just really like both of the products. The MUA brow pencil is super inexpensive. I think it's like £3 or something like that. Super inexpensive. I think the shade is also perfect for my brows. The NYX thickening mascara, I will repurchase it. It is a bit more expensive. I can't remember how much it is, but I think NYX is sort of up there when it comes to drugstore makeup. But again, it is something I will repurchase because I do enjoy it so much. And again, I think the shade is perfect for me. The fact that they sent it to me was obviously really nice of them, but I don't think I was ever obligated to talk about it on camera. Definitely not obligated to talk about it a year later in a favourites video. But it is genuinely something I use every day, and that's over, like, I have the Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil, which I do really like and I do use a lot, but I choose this over that. And I have the Benefit Gimme Brow, but again, I choose the NYX over that as well, so there's no point me talking about those if these are my favourites. Right, what I'm going to do now is finish up my lower lash line with the exact same shades that I used on the top because I am boring, and then I'm going to put the orange shade on my inner corner along with a little bit of this shade as well, I think. There we go, beautiful. I'm actually really loving the colourful inner corner at the minute. I've done it a couple of times, in fact I did it last time I used this palette. Really enjoying it. Now, for pencil liners. I haven't spoken about these much on my channel, but I have been loving them, and these are the Beauty Bay crayon eyeliners. I have 6 of them. The one thing that annoys me more than anything is, can you tell what the shades are from this packaging? They're just fully white, there's no colour indication on them, and that really bothered me, because the only way you can tell what colour it is if you find the very tiny writing and remember what the shade names are. So for example, this one is called Cotton Candy. I'm assuming it's a pink. This one is called Deep, and this might actually be the one I want. That's a black. I actually am looking for a blue. So yeah, that's the only thing I don't like, but I do think they are really good. The shade I'm going to use is called Peacock, and it is a bluey green because I think it'll go really well with the blues in my eyeshadow. As always, going to cut this out of the video because I don't like watching people put stuff in their waterlines. I can't be the only person that feels that way, so to make it easier on all of us, I'm just going to cut it out of the video. I'm back. These are so creamy, so pigmented. I typically go in with 2 coats just to make them fully opaque, but they draw onto your waterline so easily. They last really well. I found no inconsistencies with the formula, because I do also really like the Made by Mitchell All Smudge No Budge liners, but I find the formula really inconsistent. There's a purple one that I really dislike because I can't get it to work for me. But then I have like a yellowy orange one and a brown one that I absolutely love. And I'd rather recommend these because A, I think they're cheaper, B, I think they're really good quality, and I think there are no inconsistencies. I absolutely love them. I need to use them more, but I do really like them. Now for mascara, and there are quite a few I could mention, because if you guys have been watching my channel, you'll remember that I had like a streak of like 4 or 5 videos where I tested a new mascara in every video and liked every single one of them. But the one I have been using the most is the ABH Lash Brag, is that what it's called? It has a very minor hourglass shape, which I don't normally go for, but I've been really enjoying it. And genuinely, if I'm not wearing my waterproof Bad Girl Bang by Benefit, I'm wearing this one, and I didn't want to talk about the Benefit one because I actually don't like it that much. I like how it looks, but it transfers onto my lower lash line throughout the day. While I'm here talking about this one, some other mascaras I've tested that I really liked was the Bobbi Brown Smoky Eye Mascara, the Urban Decay, the vegan one that's meant to be shaped like a leaf, the Lottie London Super Fake, the MAC Stack Mascara. Honestly, I've found so many mascaras that I love this year. The only thing that's a bit annoying is that most of them are high end, so probably not going to repurchase them. This one's a full size. The MAC, the Urban Decay and the Bobbi Brown are all miniatures, but they'll get used. So yeah, that is what I've been liking. I'd got a little bit on my face and I just made it worse. Oh no. Okay, we're gonna have to ignore it. I've done the best I can. Now for lip products, and genuinely I haven't picked out a lip product yet because I don't know which one I want. I think for liner, it has to be the Doll Beauty liners, specifically this one in the shade Diva Forever. It is my favourite. It is slightly worn down. I will need to sharpen it before I use it. However, I tested it very recently and I was sent it to test, so I don't want people to think I'm only putting it in here because I tested it for the brand. But the Beauty Crop Lipped Cream in the shade Mocha, I actually did really enjoy this and I have used it a lot since I put it in my testing video. I also did not need to put it in my testing video, just grabbing a sharpener. I didn't need to put it in a testing video, I just needed to review it on their website. I still haven't put my review up yet, but I did really like it and I still really like it, but I didn't want people to think that I'm just putting it in here because they sent it to me. Also, I can't find it, I literally just used it in a video, but the MUA Intense Colour Lip Liners I really love. They're super inexpensive, but I think I spoke about those last year, so I'm going to go for Doll Beauty this year. You can tell how much I love it because it's meant to be so much longer than this. That's one I've used a lot less. There we go, that shade is on. I will say they're not the most creamy lip liners I've ever used in my life, but they have really good pigment and really good lasting power. And I just really like the shade. It works really nicely. I kind of need one that is slightly lighter, which is what this Mocha shade is for me. It's a slightly lighter version. But again, didn't want to put it in here. But I do really like it. Now for lip products, there are about 50 different lip products I can talk about that are my favourite. The one I'm going to use is this one. This is the e.l.f. Seriously Satin in the shade Cream. Now, it's a very pale shade, and if you look at the end, it's covered in lipstick, and that is because I always do this. I do a lip liner, which is much darker, and then I just use this in the centre. Sometimes I even use a lipstick that's darker, and just use this in the centre. And that is sort of my go-to lip at the minute, and that's why I've put this one in here, but let's do some honourable mentions. I will say formula on this, really nice, really creamy. Matte, but it stays on pretty well. You do obviously need to reapply it because it is a bullet lipstick, but it is really good. I'm going to take the headband out while we do some honourable mentions for lip products. Honourable mentions. The Maybelline Superstay Vinyl Ink. I have the shade 110 Awestruck. I really want to get this in more colours because I really like this. I haven't worn it all day, so I don't know how well it lasts. But it feels really nice, it looks amazing, I really liked it. I remember even after I'd finished my testing video, whenever I finish a video, I send a picture of what I look like to my boyfriend. And when I did it for this video where I tested this, I was like, I love the lip product, I will be buying it in like every shade it comes in. So that I really like. What other ones? I'm trying to be selective about this. The Beauty Bay matte lipsticks, I have 3 of them. This is the shade Tickle. I will say I have a little like holder for 12 lipsticks in front of me. They are the ones that I wear all the time, so that's what I'm picking from. This is the shade Tickle. I also have the shade Juice and Gelato. The formula is really nice, the colours are amazing, they have a really good choice of colours. And then the only other product I'm going to mention, no, I'm going to mention 2 more actually. One of them I'm going to mention are these. These are the Bourjois Rouge Velvet, the lipsticks. I have 2 of them. I think I tested them last year, but I really, really like them. They are matte, they apply really well, they feel really comfortable, they look nice, they have quite a decent range for colours as well, as far as I'm aware. So yeah, and then the other product I'm going to mention, which I actually don't have here because I wore it yesterday. If you guys remember, a couple of videos back, I tested a red liquid lipstick by the brand Josephine. It was like the Lip / Power or something like that. I wore it in the video, I really liked it in the video. I wore it yesterday and I went out and about for about 4 or 5 hours yesterday, and I wore it all day, and I'm pretty sure it only came off when I came home and started eating my dinner. So it lasted really well, and when I was out, I was like drinking water, drinking from a bottle, you know. I don't think I really ate anything, but I was definitely like, you know, living my life, doing my thing, and it stayed on really well all day, and I really enjoyed it. But there we go. That is my finished look, full of all of my favourites from 2023. Next year I will definitely test a lot more makeup. That is one thing I realised doing this video and prepping for this video, is I've not tested a lot of makeup at all this year. So next year I will try and fix that and test a lot more. But let me know down in the comment section what products have been your favourites this year, because I desperately want to try them. I want to do a video where I test like my subscribers' favourites, but I think I need to wait until I have a few more subscribers to do that. But anyway, let me know your favourites down below. If you like this look, please give it a big thumbs up. If you like my content, please consider subscribing. I put up a video every Saturday and it is always makeup related, so if that sounds like fun for you, then this is the place to be. I don't know why I always mess up my outro. But please let me know your thoughts down below. I hope you have a great day and an amazing week, and if you celebrate Christmas or any holiday during this time of year, I really hope you enjoy it and have a great time. And I will see you in the next video, which will be our last one of 2023, and it will be related to my birthday because my birthday is on the 30th. But anyway, have a great day and a great week, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!